Hi everybody, I'm going to show you a few things about the fx991ES Plus calculator. Let's start. Suppose I want to write 1.5, which is 3 over 2, which is 1.5. I go to my calculator and I write 1.5 equal, and then when I press the SD button, this button, it gives me 3 over 2 and 1.5. If I press Shift SD, it gives me 1.5 like that, and again Shift SD like that. So play with it and you find all the way to write 1.5. If I want to write 1.5 in the beginning, I use Shift, this button, and then I write 1. With the arrows I go 1, 2, equal 1.5, and I can again press the SD, Shift SD, and get all this way of writing 1.5. Okay, second thing. Suppose I want to solve this quadratic equation, x to the power of 2 minus 2x minus 3 equals 0. I go to mode 5, it gives me all these kind of equations, 3. I write only the coefficients, 1, minus 2, minus 3, equal. So x is 3, x1, and x2 is minus 1. I just solved this quadratic equation. Suppose I want to factor this equation into breaking into factors. So what I do, let's go again. Suppose I have this equation, 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. I go to mode 5.3 again. I write 2 minus 3, 1. x1 is 1, x2 is a half. I can write it like this. If I use this method, I can break it into factors. I write the a, the 2, x minus 1, x minus half, and then I bring the 2 inside this bracket, so I'll get x minus 1 to 2x minus 1. So I managed to break this quadratic equation into its factors. Okay, let's continue. Suppose I have these two equations, 2x plus y equals 2, 4x minus 3y equals 6. I go to mode 5, look 1. 1 is this, solve this kind of equations, 1. I write only the coefficients, 2, 1, make sure the 2, this coefficient is on the right side, 2. Again, 4, minus 3, 6. The first solution will be the x, the second will be the y. And again with the SD I can change the way of writing. Okay, suppose I want to solve this equation, 3 equations. 2x plus y plus z equals 4, 3x minus y plus 3z minus 5 equals 0, and 2x plus y minus 6z equals 8. I go to mode 5, 2, and only the coefficients. 2, 1, 1, 4. 2, 1, 1, 4. 3 minus 1, 3. Make sure the 5 is on the other side, so it's 5. 2, 1, minus 6, 8. X equals 79 over 35, y equals 2 over 35, z equals 2, minus 4 over 7. And again, with the SD, I can change the way of writing. When I want to go back to the original state of this calculator, mode 1. Okay, let's continue. Suppose I want to write 300,000 in different ways. For example, I can write it 300 multiplied by 10 over 3. I can write it 3 multiplied by 10 over 5. I can write it 3 multiply 0.3 multiplied by 10 over 6, and so on. So I go to 300,000 equal, and then I press this button, ENG. ENG transforms into this kind of writing. When I press 1, it gives me that. When I press again, it gives me the 300, the original. When I press again, it gives me 3 or 30 million to the power 10 to the power of minus 3, and again and again and again. If I go to Shift ENG, I go back 0.36, again Shift ENG 0.9, 12. It goes only with jumping with 3s, 12, 9, 6, 3, minus 3, etc. So ENG, Shift ENG. Okay. Suppose I want to write originally 300 like that. I don't go to, sorry, I turn it on again, 300. I don't do this multiply by 10 to the power of 3. It's long. What I do is I write 300, this button, 3 equals, it gives me back the 300,000. Suppose I want to write this fast. Multiply 9 to the 10 to the power of minus 7 divided by 7, 10 to the power of 8. So I open my fraction button and 3 multiply 10, 6. Multiply 9, this button, minus 7. Divided by 7, this button, 8. And I get the answer. If I write the ENG, it doesn't do it. You see, it moves it. If I Shift ENG, moves it again to the way I want to write it. Okay, more. Now to more interesting thing. For example, suppose I have this function 2x over x plus 1. And I want to insert into the variable x 1, and then 5, and then half, and then 7, and so on. In the old calculators, I used to write 2 multiplied by 1 divided by 1 plus 1, and then change it to 5, and then a half, and again and again. Here, look what I do. I open this fraction button, and I put this equation inside my calculator. I write 2. If I want to write x, alpha, brackets. You see this x in the red? Alpha, this, gives me the x. Go down, alpha, this, plus 1. Now I have it in my calculator. Now if I want to insert 1 to the x, I go to calc, and it asks me what x to insert. I tell it 1, and it gives me the answer. Now I write calc, it asks me again what x, 5. Calc, it asks me again half, half. Calc, 7, and so on. It's very, very useful when you want to find what happens when x is, you want to put a very large number to x, infinity. So I can go to calc and place a very big number. And you look, it shows me 1.99999. It means that the y, the limit of y is 2. And if I want to put a very small number, I go to calc minus something like that, and it gives me 2.0000. It means that y also, the limit of y is 2. So it's very useful to insert numbers. More. We can do it here. Suppose I want to find the integral from 0 to 4 of this expression. I go to my calculator, integrate, integral. I go down 0, 4, play with it. We should go to the left instead of to the right. I open my fraction button, 8 alpha this, down, alpha x minus 1. And I press equal. It will give me the answer. Because it's not a good... Now it will be okay. So I want to change it. I invented a bad exercise, so I'll put plus. Now it should be okay. My pencil broke. Okay, so it is 19.12. Okay, now we can do integrals. Okay, more. Suppose I want to do combinations. For example, c 2 over 4, which means what's the combinations of choosing 2 objects from 4 objects? I go to 4, shift. You see the NCR here? This button, 2. 2. It gives me 6. So the answer is 6. More. Suppose I have complex number, 3 minus 4i, and I want to change it into the polar form. So what I do, I go to shift pol, shift plus is pol, 3, comma, this shift that gives me the comma, minus 4, like that. When I write equal, the answer will be 5, cis, and this is the argument, minus 53.13. This is how to transform this number into the polar form. Suppose I want to change it back from 5 cis 53.13 into this. I go to shift rec. Shift rec is shift minus rec, and I write 5 shift the bracket. It gives me again the comma, and 53.13 equals. The x is 3 plus the y is 4. Because I wrote plus. Okay, let's change it back. Again, shift rec 5, comma, minus 53.13. So the x is 3 and the y is minus 4. Minus 399, it's minus 4, so it's minus 4i. So this is how I change it from this form to that form, and that form to this form. Okay, more. If I want to go from radians to degrees, for example, I want to do sine 45 degrees, which is also sine pi over 4. This is in radian mode, this is in degrees mode. So in degrees, if you see this letter D, it means you are in degrees mode. So you write sine 45 and the answer will be this. If you want to go to radian mode, you go to shift mode 4. You see the R, now you're in radian mode. So now you go to sine. If you want the pi, you open fraction, shift this button, pi over 4. It will give you the same answer. Make sure that you see this letter R for radians, D for degrees. Usually I want shift mode, I want my calculator to be in degrees mode. Okay, more. Suppose I want to calculate this. In this calculator you have this button, shift this button, write 5 and write 32. So it's 2. Okay, it's an easy button. Okay, more. Now, a very, very interesting thing. Suppose I want to solve this equation. Now I solved it already to myself and I know that the answers are these. There's a way for this calculator to solve it and you can check your answers. How do I do it? I put all this equation into the calculator like this. Open fraction. 1 over x plus 3 minus fraction 1 over x minus 3. Now if you want to write equal, you write alpha, this button, it gives you the equals, 6 over 5. Now you write shift, solve, this button solve, and it wants you to guess a solution for x. I'm guessing that the solution will be 4, for example, and it will start working and it will give me the nearest solution to the 4, which should be 2, but it will think a lot. Okay, so I write 4 and I write the equal. Look how much time it's going to think, and eventually it should give me the 2. Let's see how much time it's going to think. It's still thinking. It will take time. Okay, it gave me the -2. Okay, so it gave me the -2, which is also good. And you see L minus R 0, which means if you place the -2 in the left side and in the right side, obviously the right side you can't, but if you could, if you do L minus R, it means you get 0, that it means that the answer is exactly right. Let's try another x. So shift solve, let's write 3. And let's see what it's going to give us. So I'm guessing the answer is 3, and it gave me 2. And the 2 is also a good answer. So what you need to do here is to guess some x's. You need to play with it, 10, 20, 3, 4, 5, and see if you get good results. If you get the results, it means that the good results, it means that the equation is good, and now you can solve it and get the results yourself. So it's a way to check that your results are good. Okay, one last thing I want to show you. Shift mode, down, cont. It means contrast, 6. You can go like this, which is dark, like this, which is light. So if it's like this, it doesn't mean that your batteries are out. Play with it a little bit. Okay. Okay, these are the main things I wanted to show you today. Thank you very, very much. And we'll be seeing you.